Meghan Markle's ambitions have long teetered between theatrical spectacle and earnest effort, but her recent attempts to break into the podcast and cooking show arenas have not just stumbled, they have spectacularly crashed, leaving her reputation in tatters. The latest blow came live and unfiltered from none other than Tom Ford, the renowned fashion designer and filmmaker who publicly demolished Meghan's podcast and cooking show efforts in a candid interview that left no room for spin or damage control. This was not some passive criticism from an armchair commentator, it was a harsh, direct, and humiliating takedown that exposed just how out of touch and underwhelming Meghan's multimedia ventures truly are. From the very start, Meghan's entry into the media world post-royal exit was marked by high-profile deals and sky-high expectations. Spotify's reported $20 million investment in her Archetypes podcast was touted as a revolutionary platform championing women's voices and dismantling stereotypes. Instead, it quickly devolved into a cringeworthy performance that critics slammed for its lack of depth, poor production quality, and Meghan's painfully forced interview style. Listeners found her persona to be more performative than genuine, casting serious doubt on the sincerity of her authentic brand. Then came her foray into the culinary world with a cooking show that seemed to confuse personal branding with actual culinary expertise. The show, which aired on a major streaming platform, was expected to showcase Meghan's warm personality and engage audiences with relatable home cooking. But the reality was far from the idealized image she tried to project. Critics panned the show as amateurish and awkward, highlighting Meghan's lack of charisma and the apparent absence of any real cooking skills. The show felt staged, scripted, and ultimately forgettable. Enter Tom Ford, a figure known for his sharp eye and brutal honesty. In a recent live interview, Ford did not mince words when discussing Meghan's media projects. He described her podcast as painfully superficial and her cooking show as a branding exercise masquerading as entertainment. Ford's blunt assessment echoed what many viewers and critics had already been whispering: Meghan's ventures are less about content quality and more about image control. The designer's comments struck a nerve, revealing the fragile underpinnings of Meghan's carefully constructed public persona. What makes Ford's critique so devastating is that it comes from someone with real cultural cachet and insider status. Unlike casual social media jabs, his condemnation carries weight in entertainment and fashion circles. His candid remarks expose a woman desperately clinging to relevance through projects that lack substance. And Meghan's reaction? Reports suggest she was furious, feeling blindsided by an attack she likely thought would be softened or ignored. But the truth is that Meghan's attempts to pivot her career have been plagued by an ongoing pattern of overpromising and underdelivering. This isn't the first time Meghan's ventures have faced public embarrassment. The Netflix series With Love, Meghan, which was heavily promoted as a heartfelt passion project, was met with lukewarm reviews at best, with many calling it painful to watch and awkwardly self-serving. Critics pointed out the show's disjointed storytelling and Meghan's unconvincing attempts at acting, all of which fed into a growing narrative of a celebrity more focused on image than craft. Moreover, Meghan's much-hyped status as a feminist icon and advocate has been repeatedly questioned. Her public statements often come across as rehearsed soundbites rather than genuine calls for change, leading to accusations of performative activism. The podcast, which promised to break down stereotypes, often felt like a self-congratulatory echo chamber where Meghan's own grievances were center stage rather than broader, systemic issues affecting women globally. Tom Ford's dismantling of her podcast and cooking show is the latest symptom of a broader problem: Meghan Markle's inability to transition from royalty to credible media personality. Instead of quietly honing her craft or building authentic connections with audiences, she has opted for high-profile, high-investment projects that are more about spectacle than substance. This approach has repeatedly backfired, leaving her open to harsh criticism and public ridicule. The fallout from Ford's remarks is also revealing of Meghan's PR machine's limitations. The lack of an effective response to such a high-profile rebuke suggests either an unwillingness or inability to confront the critiques head-on. Instead, her team tends to lean on damage control through vague statements about misunderstandings or personal attacks, which only fuels public skepticism. In the end, Meghan Markle's recent media disasters underscore a catastrophic failure to adapt and deliver. The Duchess's attempts to carve out a meaningful post-royal career have been marred by controversy, poor reception, and now outright humiliation by industry heavyweights like Tom Ford. Her story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of celebrity branding divorced from talent and authenticity, a spectacle destined to implode under the weight of its own inflated promises. If Meghan hopes to regain any semblance of credibility, she'll need to rethink her strategy entirely, focus on genuine content, hone her skills, and most importantly, stop relying on celebrity status to carry projects that lack real value. Until then, the public will remain skeptical and the critics will keep sharpening their knives.